Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. We've got a rumors 3-pack for you here on Tuesday. Plus, an update on the source that the blog boys don't want you to know about, the Oliver Martin story. We're going to start the show off with him. I am James Yoder, the undisputed king of Michigan football, aka the face of Michigan football media. It certainly isn't Sam Webster. That guy has a face made for radio, so I've been told, though I've never actually seen a picture of him. Let's get started with Oliver Martin here on the Michigan Football Report. Put the story out last week, I think it was Thursday, tweeted it out that Oliver Martin was considering some chatter that he wasn't going to come back to Michigan for his third-year redshirt sophomore season. So let's take a look at this timeline, why I felt strongly enough, and still do, that Oliver Martin is at least torn and has been leaning away from, going into the transfer portal, leaning away from Michigan. Take a look at his career with the Wolverines. Started in 2017, four-star recruit. And, as part of a four-wide receiver recruiting class, he was like the last guy in as far as like talent. So redshirted in 17, back up in 2018 while his classmates Tariq Black, DPJ, and Nico Collins kind of starred, or at least Tariq Black was the allure of a star, even though he's been injured. This spring, Mike Sainristil, a true freshman, a kid who hadn't even been to high school prime yet, as early, he took some of the shine of that slot position in the new Josh Gattis offense. Then, a few weeks back, heads home to Iowa, and then, all the players, they get a few weeks off, couple weeks off, heads home to Iowa. Players are supposed to return midweek last week. He did not return to campus. Now, when I am told he's thinking about considering not coming back, doesn't show up for their mandatory team meeting before the freshman report on June 1st, that was a signal. Reached out to sources, had it kind of confirmed. He is definitely considering transferring maybe to Iowa, another Big Ten school, maybe going out west or UCSC, UCLA, we'll see. Then he also heard did not renew his lease for the month of June on his apartment. So that two and two put together, Michigan went, I think they got the news from me, the football staff probably. They went all in on it, reached out to Martin, got him to come back to campus to at least talk to the coaches about his future. Went out with Josh Gattis and some wide receivers to dinner over the weekend, Sunday, Monday. And as I've been told, he is still torn as of now. And why would he be torn? You see those paltry stats in 2 years at Michigan, really just one on the field. Well, Mike Sainristil on the depth chart is your starter at slot, at least from what all the signs are pointing to coming out of spring ball. A month off since spring, the trip to South Africa, and now as we get into summer workouts, leading into Michigan 2019 fall camp, which is going to start up here in about 2 months. So I've got Sainristil starting at the slot role next to the three wide receiver starting set of DPJ, Nico Collins, and Tariq Black. Now, we all remember Oliver Martin, out of the state of Iowa, a heck of a swimmer diver as well as a football player, a four-star recruit, top 250 guy coming into Michigan. What I've been told also, and this is actually the most intriguing part of the news that's kind of come out towards him in the last few weeks, is if he decides to come back to Michigan for the 2019 season, which I don't believe is anything more than 50-50 proposition at this point. You may even see him stay through the summer, go into fall camp, compete, and then make a decision then, hey, I'm starting, or I'm getting the reps I want, I'm going to stay. Or Sainristil, Giles Jackson, some true freshmen, they're taking the spots on the number 6 receiver, I'm going to head out. He can still transfer all the way up until I think his 4th game of the season. So certainly don't believe the blog boys just because he came back to campus. Yoder's wrong! These guys are obsessed with everything I say, and they're just trying to gotcha me. So don't believe them. I think my track record, folks, has speaks for himself. Let's just kind of take a little walk back on James Yoder's last year and a half Michigan football reporting. Shea Patterson transferring to Michigan. Yoder had it first. Yoder had the only one really. Kareem Walker called that months before it's happened, not coming back to Michigan. Grant Newsome unable to play. Tariq Black injury. Tariq Black returning to the lineup. How about that one? Star player sitting at the bowl game. Michigan searching for an OC. Pep Hamilton moving on from Michigan. Al Washington going to Ohio State. Khalil Brandon being processed. My track record speaks for itself, and I'm always days, weeks, or sometimes even months ahead of the card-carrying, water-carrying Abloff's army that waits for permission to release sources. So keep an eye on this one. I am the ultimate authority on the Oliver Martin situation. We'll have the latest news all throughout the next days and weeks as he makes his decision on his future with the Michigan football team. And thank you for watching the Michigan Football Report, the #1 most watched Michigan football program on this great planet Earth. I want to ask you to subscribe. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. Is that not the best website URL in history? YouTube.com/Michigan TV. I've got it, and you should be subscribing to it. So go ahead and subscribe below. If you're watching on Facebook Live, Michigan Wolverines by Chat Sports, go ahead, head over to YouTube now, after the show, whenever. Make sure you subscribe. You can watch the show anytime on demand. You'll always know when we have a new episode. All right, let's get into the Michigan football rumors. But before we do, we're going to take a quick commercial break, so stay with us. I've got a story on a Michigan legend calling the football program soft. Got some interesting news on that one, and then some Michigan football recruiting news that you fans might not be too happy about. So stay with us here as we take a quick break on YouTube. All right, welcome back. Thanks for you who stuck through the commercial break on YouTube. Getting the money coming in the door, allow us to keep making the show for you, the Michigan football fans, probably the smartest fans, the fans who watch this show, and not listen to the Blog Boys and Stay Puft Sam to get their old news on Michigan football program. All right, so rumor #1, Bo Schembechler. Did he call Michigan soft? We all know Bo's been deceased, tragically died before the Michigan 1-2 game against Ohio State, so clearly it didn't happen just now. But I found this article very interesting, giving it 2 Harbaugh heads, because it's all hearsay and speculation, but there's a nice feature on USA Today that's going to be running all throughout the 2019 season commemorating Bo Schembechler's 50-year anniversary of taking the Michigan job. Took it December 27th, 1968. Came over from Miami, Ohio, a.k.a. the cradle of coaches. Took an interview with then Michigan Athletic Director Don Canham. About a month after the job came open. They weren't really rushing these coaching searches back in the late 60s, but when asked by Canham, what do you did? Yeah, I know you worked under Woody Hayes at Ohio State. He's your mentor. He's your the guy you look at. What did you think about that game last year when Ohio State absolutely kicked Michigan's ass 50-14 in Bump Elliott's final season as Michigan head coach? And here's what Bo said in his interview. Reportedly, this is all hearsay and speculation. That's why we're only giving it 2 Harbaugh heads. Bo says, as I said, I respect Bump, former Michigan legendary player Bump Elliott, average coach to say the least. I respect Bump a great deal. He recruited some very talented athletes and has certainly led your football program with class. However, it is my opinion that Michigan football is soft. Bo Schembechler sticking it to Don Canham, then Michigan's AD, just saying, you know what, the program is soft. And Ryan basically went on to say it through the article. You should check it out on USA Today. He said then, if I'm coming in here, we are not going to be soft. We're going to be the toughest damn football program that Woody Hayes and Ohio State has ever faced, and you cannot beat the Buckeyes if you are soft. And we all remember Bo Schembechler, 21 seasons as Michigan's head coach, the winningest coach in Michigan football history with 194 wins, 13 Big Ten championships, and going against maybe at the time the greatest coach in college football at that time, Woody Hayes, for 10 straight years, the 10-year war. Came in as a coach in his late 30s, early 40s, and went head-to-head with legendary Woody Hayes for 10 years, went 5-4-1 in those games. We all know, we see number 3, Lloyd Carr on the list at 162. Jim Harbaugh, nowhere near this list, though there's a chance, outside chance, that he could bump into that top 5 with a 13-win seasons that tie Bump Elliott for 51 wins. Harbaugh 38 in his 4 years at Michigan. So I want to ask you guys, is Ohio State, like Bo said in 68, is Ohio State historically tougher than Michigan? Is it just the toughness that has led to 14 out of 15 victories for the Buckeyes of Ohio State? And really, if you take out, if you go in 1950 to present, modern day football, and maybe it's a little bit before modern day, Ohio State has dominated the rivalry for longer stretches than Michigan. Michigan is still relying on some of the early days of the rivalry when they rolled off 20 wins in a row in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So is Ohio State historically tougher than Michigan as a football program? I want to know from you guys. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'll come back here in a few moments and tell you guys what I think about this. I'm sorry, we're going to tell you about it right now. But Y for yes, N for no. Totally messed up the script there, guys. We're still going with it. answer in the comment section below. And if you are watching on YouTube, right after you type your wire in, click that subscribe button, youtube.com/Michigan TV, the #1 channel on YouTube for Michigan football news, Michigan football rumors, all offseason into the 2019 season. Let's keep it rolling. Recruiting news. AJ Henning, a guy a lot of Michigan fans were getting super hyped up for when it looked like maybe he's going to commit to Michigan, showing Michigan a lot of love on Twitter. Some of the recruiting experts started putting their crystal balls and predictions that he's going to come to Michigan, but he visited Georgia this weekend, and a lot of people are saying he is now leaning towards the Bulldogs. 2 Harbaugh heads on this one. People are talking. I certainly don't have a source on this one. I haven't been following this recruitment too closely just yet. I kind of assumed, yeah, looks like maybe he's going to Michigan. Pretty sweet. A top 100 running back, wide receiver. They list him as a wide receiver on 24/7, Rivals, ESPN, but some have said that Michigan will use him perhaps as a running back, perhaps as a slot, perhaps as a jack of all trades. Good friends with J.J. McCarthy, 2021 5-star quarterback, committed to Michigan a few weeks back, took his official visit to Georgia this past weekend, a couple days ago, visiting Notre Dame this weekend, and will visit Michigan in a big recruiting weekend on June 21st, and will likely make his decision within days, a week or so after that visit to Michigan. So keep an eye out for this one on Henning. Now, I've got more on AJ Henning and how he impacts Michigan's 2020 recruiting class coming up, but we got to take a little commercial break for you watching on YouTube, so stick with us for just a moment. All right, we are back. We're talking AJ Henning, Michigan football recruiting 2020. This is a top 100 player in America. Some list him as a wide receiver, though Michigan rumored to be recruiting him as a running back, wide receiver, going to give him the option to try out at both positions should he come to the Wolverines. Friends of J.J. McCarthy, 4-star recruit, and I really think Michigan needs him because this 2020 class is not getting off to the start that Michigan needs it for it to compete with the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the LSUs of the world. They are not ranked inside the top 10 right now. Only 5 4-stars, 4 3-stars, but let's take a look at the top 10 classes. Michigan, number 17 class in the country in the 24/7 Sports composite ranking. Clemson number 1, Bama, LSU, Georgia, Miami, very southern heavy recruiting classes at the top 5 of the 2020 team rankings. Getting into the bottom half of the top 10. Notre Dame, who Michigan will face in the field, many times in the next few years. Florida, Florida State, North Carolina, a little magic Mac Brown getting the Tar Heels in there in the top 9. And then Ryan Day, Ohio State, already getting off to a higher start than Jim Harbaugh for the 2020 class. So this one will hurt. If AJ Henning does indeed go to Georgia, some say Notre Dame is his number 2 now, but Michigan will have an opportunity to woo him. Maybe J.J. McCarthy will be on campus as well on June 21st. Let's take a look at the Michigan 2020 recruiting class. Now, 9 commits so far, a lot less than Jim Harbaugh's had in previous class. 0 5-stars. For context, I think Clemson, Alicia has 5 5-stars right now already. Michigan, 0 5-stars. So certainly not getting off to the hot start that many people expected them to after a really strong 2018 college football season. 5 4-stars and 4 4-stars for the Wolverines 2020 recruiting class. So AJ Henning, it's got to come to Michigan, but doesn't look like he's going to if you believe what the recruiting experts are putting out there. All right, want to remind you guys, follow me on Twitter. And if you do, by the way, check out the tweet I just put out there a few minutes. Father's Day shout-outs. Tweet me your Father's Day pictures of you and your dad, you and your kids. Follow me on Twitter, at James Yoder. No more T, just at James Yoder. Also, follow me on Instagram. Follow the Michigan Football Report on Instagram, at Michigan Football Report. We have 925 followers now. If we get to 1,000, I'm going to chug a beer Aaron Rodgers style. I'm going to do it way better than him. David Bakhtiari style is how I'm going to do it here in the Michigan Football Report. So 75 more followers. Yoder's chugging a beer. I'm going to show you just how much of a man this Michigan man is with chugging beer. And I want to give some audience shout outs before we get to the rest of our rumors. These are 5 guys, and we're going to start shouting out our best viewers on shows going forward. We did it on the last Michigan Football Report on Monday. We're doing it again here on Tuesday. So let's take a look at these 5 upstanding Michigan fans. Chester BM goes by 5-star duds on Twitter. Shout out to him. Chad Smeaton, my man. Love this guy. At Bad News 704 goes by RGF on Twitter. Shea Pascal at Pascal Shea, one of the finest Michigan and finest Americans you will find on the Twitter sphere. And then the Football Guru guy, he's a guru in football, also has some pretty sick watches and cars. So go ahead and follow these outstanding Michigan football fans, and you will not regret doing it. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor. You want to get started in sports books, sports betting? You want to get my inside sports betting tips for Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs, and even some college football prop bets, over/under wins. Michigan 9.5 wins, 8.5 wins, 10.5. I'll tell you my picks, but you got to get started with MyBookie, chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use the promo code GoBlue to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $300. Put in 50, get another 50. Put in 100, yeah, I got another 100 sitting there to bet on sports. It makes the game so much more interesting. MyBookie is the service we are using in 2019 in the Michigan Football Report. Promo code GoBlue, chatsports.com/GoBlue will redirect you right to MyBookie. All right, last story for the Michigan Football Report. 3 former Wolverines nominated for the College Football Hall of Fame. It's more of a news story than a rumor, so we're just giving it 4 Harbaugh heads. F-A-C-K, fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That's how we spell it here at the Michigan Football Report. 3 Wolverines, all linemen: Jumbo Elliott, Steve Hutchinson, Mark Mesner. Some of those names for you youngins may not recognize some of them. I'm sure most have heard of Steve Hutchinson, likely Elliott, but maybe Mesner's not one that you are too familiar with. I'm not sure. So among 76 nominees in the 2020 College Football Hall of Fame class, all 3 guys have been nominated in the past. It's not the first opportunity for any of them to make the College Football Hall of Fame. Got rules. You got to be out of college football for 10 years if you're a player. You've got to be a consensus All-American if you're a player. Some different rules for coaches. But let's take a look at the last 5 players, or I guess last 5 Wolverines who have been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Last year, Charles Woodson, probably my best friend, co-hosted a Super Bowl party with him, no big deal. Elected in the College Football Hall of Fame 2018, also a fine winemaker. Rob Lytle, a running back that my daddy was telling me about when I was growing up from the Bo Schembechler era. Desmond Howard, inducted in 2011. If you remember when Michigan wore their first throwback jerseys in the Under the Lights game, he was, I guess, honored in front of the crowd and retired his jersey as part of that. Lloyd Carr, also that same year, Michigan's coach from 1995 to 2007. And then David Brown, a defensive back, was elected into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2007. So those are the recent Hall of Famers. Michigan has the opportunity to have 3 more Hall of Famers when they're voted on in the coming months. So that is our show, folks. Remember to subscribe, youtube.com/MichiganTV, the Michigan Football Report on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We're going to be back with Thursday with more Michigan football burning questions, 6 more true or false questions. So we will see you then. Go Blue. Hey there, Michigan football fans. Thanks so much for watching the Michigan Football Report. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got Michigan football news, rumors, recruiting information, and inside access to the Michigan football program. You ready for another Michigan football video? I got you hooked up right here. Go Blue.